You're listening to the Savoir Faire audio experience.
Are you ready?
The Savoir Faire experience is your guide to everything that has to do with lifestyle. From dating, rides, style, and entertainment. All brought to you by the editor of Savoir Faire magazine, Robert White. Anything goes on this audio experience. So, let's go.
It's still the best.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Savoir Faire audio experience. Thank you guys for sharing, caring, listening. Definitely appreciate it. Today is another great interview. I'm excited about talking with these guys because this is a unique platform. We got three guys in a van traveling across America right now. We're hanging out with Joker's Republic. What's going on, dudes?
Hello. I would like to correct you. It's not a van. It's Pat's mom's Honda CRV. Just to be very clear.
Pat's mom coming in on clutch. I appreciate it. No, that's super cool, guys.
Yeah. This is a ska band after all. Yeah.
Exactly.
There's only three of us. You don't have like 9 dudes to get in, and they're like all their saxophones to get into the van.
And the lucky part is it's a drum set and 2 guitars, so it's not really a lot of equipment that has to be hauled around either, right? So that makes it a little bit easier.
Honestly, not even a drum set. It's literally just guitars and an amplifier and merch.
Okay, so I want to make a note. I'm going to make a mental note right here for my audience, for you guys, and for myself. I want you to take a mental picture of what's happening right now, because in 10 years, maybe less, maybe 5 years, Joker's Republic is going to come back on the Savoir Faire podcast. They're going to be on the road again, and they're going to be in a big bus with tractor trailers behind them, setting up their massive show in an arena. Are you guys down?
One can only hope. you manifest that for us.
I got you, man. I'll put the energy out there as far as I can get it. So, guys, It's really cool to connect with you. If you guys don't know Joker's Republic, it's Billy, Pat, Austen, and these guys are legit guys. No doubt. If my listeners need to check them out, and I'll definitely give the normal plugs that we do at the end of the podcast. But I want to learn a little bit about each of you. And your musical kind of history a little bit. So I guess we could start with Billy really quick, because he's supposed to be focusing on the road, but he's going to chat with us too.
Sure.
Billy, just talk to me a little bit about your background and kind of how music became part of your world, and then we'll just kind of go around the vehicle and hit Pat and Austen too.
Sure. It was always kind of a part of my life. Both my parents are musicians. My mom always grew up singing in church and doing musical theater. My dad plays guitar, so there was just always music in the house. I played saxophone in like school band and stuff. I was in the marching band, and I picked up the bass when I was 13 to join a band. Actually, I believe with Patrick that we decided at our lunch table to start a punk band, as our secondary punk band to the other punk band that I couldn't be in because they didn't have any room.
Okay.
And then I really fell in love with it, and I ended up going to music school, and I'm a professional bass player in the sort of like greater New York City area. I live in Jersey City, and we're sort of, that's what I do for a living now. So
that's awesome, man. You're doing some studio work and stuff too outside of Joker's Republic?
Yeah, I do studio work. I music direct a wedding band. I have private students. I do lots of musical theater, like playing in pits, things like that, and lots of just other pickup gigs and cabarets and, jazz trio and stuff like that. There's a lot of work in the region if you sort of have the different skill sets to take advantage of it,
Yeah, no, that's super cool. What about you, Patrick? Can you tell me a little bit about your history with drums and how that became to be?
Yeah. So, growing up, my dad played guitar. My brother played saxophone, switched to the drums in high school. And what really did it is that I like to play a lot of video games. I was playing rock bands. I was playing a lot of rock bands.
Okay.
And my dad would come into my room, watch me playing on this, fake little kit. And he'd say, "We have an actual drum set in the basement. Why don't you do that?" And I said, "Real drums are stupid. I want to play rock band." Until one day I did venture behind the kit, and I realized that I had actually accidentally learned how to play the drums. And after that, I was like, well, gosh, I should just play the real instrument and like maybe play with other people. Billy alluded to earlier, we've been in a couple of projects together in high school.
Yeah.
And now we have come full circle and ended up back in a band together.
And still rehearsing in the same basement. They were still the same basement. Yeah.
I love that. Props to like Rock Band for making people professional artists. I mean, that's kind of cool. So
Yeah, it can happen.
Yeah. What about you, Austin? Give me your guitar background, man. I saw the music video for Break the Cycle on YouTube, and I saw that little shreddy piece you did on the neck. And I was like, okay, buddy, who are you? And why do I not know who you are?
I appreciate that. I also grew up around music. My mom was a singer. My father is a fine artist. He actually does all of the artwork for Joker's Republic, all the album covers, T-shirts, all that stuff.
Nice.
So I grew up in a creative household too. But I also grew up on the Tony Hawk soundtrack, and that's really where I first discovered like ska and punk and all this alternative music stuff when I was like 3 or 4 years old, listening to Less Than Jake while trying to pull a 1,000,000-point combo on college. I got into guitar after American Idiot dropped. I was in the back seat of my friend's car in 2nd grade, and I heard it come on. I think it was whatever pop radio station at the time, because like the record had just dropped. That was the big single, and I heard it, and I went, "This is what I want to do for the rest of my life." So it wasn't long after that I picked up guitar and refound ska in my high school years. I wasn't in the same town as Billy and Pat, so I didn't know them until much later. But I came to Billy, who was working at School of Rock at the time. I was an intern. He was an instructor. And I said, hey, I have this ska project that I'm really trying to get off the ground, and you're probably the best bass player I've ever met. Do you want to start a ska band? And Pat joined, I think, a year after moving home from college in Boston, and the rest is kind of history.
Yeah, I have to give you guys some credit, man, because I love like all types of music. I listen to everything, but you guys really do kind of have mastered your craft when it comes to your instruments, and the sound is incredible. Like once in a while, you listen to a band, and you guys know this too. Like sometimes the music is great, but the singer lacks, or the singer's really good, and there's one person in the band that's kind of the weakest link. You guys are all on the same level. Like you, extremely, very, very talented artists, and you can hear that in the music and the quality of everything you're putting out. So I just want to give you props on that. I'm really curious about how the band came together, how you guys actually created Joker's Republic, what that actually is. Just give me a little bit of idea of that story. Any of you can take the lead on that.
Yeah, so it starts in 2015 with me being not an intern yet, but a student at School of Rock. I was 16 years old, and I tried to start the first lineup with a couple of the other kids there, but it, for one reason or another, didn't work out. I had gone through a couple of different iterations of the band before bringing Billy and Pat in. But I would say the most defining moment of this lineup was actually our first West Coast run. We did a record called Falling Behind at a local studio in New Jersey, put it out. And for a year, I actually kind of had to carry Joker's Republic without Billy and Pat just because of different life events that had happened. But I promised that if anything had come from Falling Behind, they would be the first people that I called. And we got an invite to do a West Coast run with some of our closest friends in the scene now.
January 2020, Mike.
Yes, that's also important.
We were just starting to hear the very first reports, like, oh, some kind of virus in China. Should we be worried about that? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But while we were there, we were in Sacramento, and that show just had a bunch of problems with the people running the tour.
Oh, gosh.
And the future there was uncertain. It was show 4 out of 20, so we still had 16 more dates to go. And we're not even sure if the next one's going to happen. We were all just kind of sitting in the hotel room going, well, what do we do now? And that conversation eventually evolved into, nah, this is the lineup. This is Joker's Republic. Like, this, we have to kind of lock this down and stick together because we're seeing the reactions from people that we've never met at this point just go ridiculously wild for this music and like sing the songs back to us. Like, we're onto something here. We have to lock this down. Yeah. And then, no pun intended, lockdown happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then we all kind of came back to, in some cases, came back to New Jersey, but also like sat down and ironed everything out. And that's when we started work on our previous record, Necessary Evil, and decided we need to level this up and take it as far as we can go.
Yeah, that was kind of like the real codifying moment. And also like, you know, some people, like we've been getting feedback sort of like not to be disparaging to anybody else who has ever played with the band. There's been like a wonderful, like talented roster of folks who have subbed in, who have filled in, who've taken over parts like as needed, like throughout the course of the band. But the feedback we always got from people was like, whatever the three of you are doing together, you have incredible chemistry and you all match each other's energy really well. So like, protect that relationship and that lineup as much as possible, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree with that last statement there for sure. I mean, you guys, the energy is really cool. And it's very interesting that like when I'm prepping to interview somebody or talking with somebody or getting ready to talk to someone, I kind of scan social media. I check everything out. I listen to the music, and then we actually get into the call. But I could clearly tell that there's like a great camaraderie between the three of you. And I think that's the most important piece, is that if you have that great chemistry in the band, just to kind of keep nurturing that, keep the friendships kind of above all type of thing, you know, and then like, and still be able to kind of work together to create like really great tracks, which really leads into my next question is like, the writing process, the creative process for the band. Is there one of you that kind of leads the way for writing? Is everyone writing? How does that all work? Talk to me about like the song idea and then the finished product that becomes a Joker's Republic track.
So this actually evolved over time. The first couple albums were almost entirely Austen's like songs, choruses, song structures. Like Pat and I certainly had a lot to do with like a lot more of the instrumental parts, but like mostly my job was like I'll be the bass player, you know, and Austen would come in with like a mostly fully formed song. And like really unless there was some like lyric change or something where I was like, I really don't like that or something, we kind of mostly left it alone. And then on Necessary Evil, I think it was a much more collaborative process between the three of us. And then also working with Roger Lima from Less Than Jake, who produced the album, I think like changed our brain chemistry in the way we all sort of like think about and write songs together. And like that collective experience sort of like, in a way, like put us all on the same page of, oh, this is what a Joker's Republic song is supposed to sound like. And then for this album, there was so much more collaboration. There's some stuff that I wrote, there's some stuff that Pat wrote, stuff that Austin wrote, and like you'll sort of hear it that there's a lot there's a lot of like exchanging of ideas and a lot of different influences that I think have come through just because the three of us are like in some ways speaking the same like compositional language when we write, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, that's super cool. I'm always curious about.
Billy's right.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I want to add on to that a little bit because Billy's right. Things did evolve a lot over time. Like the first Joker's EP, Anti-Social Media, is literally just me. Billy and Pat are not on that EP. And I think one of the best compliments I've ever gotten playing instruments that I don't normally play is people thinking that it is Billy and Pat. But over time, as we started to both get to know each other more and understand like what the formula of this band is and start to find our identity, things have become a lot more collaborative. I do think there's still fair to say there are primary songwriters, but like
somebody's always got someone has 80% have an idea.
It's gone from like we've had 90% of a song and we're just going to workshop it to all right, I've got like an idea of something, let's build on this together. I think that's the best way to put it.
That makes sense.
There's a couple of songs on this album that we did as a group build from the ground up, which was in itself a very interesting creative process. Because usually it's like, hey guys, I've got a chorus. Okay, great. Or I've got a song structure. I got a riff, you know, things like that. And so it's been fun to sort of write in different ways than we're sort of used to, you know.
Yeah, no, I like that concept, man. It makes a lot of sense to me too. I've talked to a lot of bands, interviewed a lot of people in the music world, especially in bands, and they always kind of say there's one guy that kind of writes most of the stuff, and then we kind of build the melody and put the music behind it. So for you guys to say that there's a collaboration aspect, even when it comes to the writing, is super cool. And this stuff really kind of hits. I mean, it makes sense that it's starting to show in the lyrics and stuff that you guys are starting to create to get different perspective instead of just having one person write it. Because what I always look at when I'm thinking about writing and stuff too, I do a little songwriting as well. So I'm kind of like in that niche, right?
Sure.
So yeah, it makes sense that like you would have the outside perspective. And I always feel like someone actually came to me and said, I have like 7 or 8 different tracks that I just put together on a small little album for myself, right? Just to release them as a songwriter. And someone listened to the whole thing and they were like, hey, you know what? A lot of your stuff sounds exactly the same, even though it's different genres, different beats, different whatever. So I like the idea that you guys are blending like 3 of you into the creative process, because nothing's ever going to be like, I mean, it's going to be a Joker's Republic track, and I think there's going to be pieces of it that'll always, like, you'll hear it and know that's your band. But at the end of the day, it's not going to just be the same perspective all the time, because all 3 of you are kind of collaborating more, which is cool, which is probably why artists use outside writers on some of this stuff too, right, in the future, because you want a different perspective and not have the same one-track mind kind of concepts.
Oh, for sure. If it were up to me, every song would be ska punk and nothing else. Like, literally, I like to joke. When it was me primarily bringing in a finished song, I like to joke in interviews that it was, I bring a ska song to the band and they go, okay, how do we make this not a ska song? And I say, you can't do that, so let's figure it out.
And then I say, and then they were like, well, it was like a game of musical chicken. It'd be like, how far can we push it before the song loses its entire identity of what it is? And we're like, all right, that was perhaps that was too far.
I kid you not, we just passed a truck full of chickens.
Are you serious? Yes. That's really funny.
The innuendo just came to life.
First, folks.
That's amazing. No, that's too
great.
funny. So I want to talk about the new single. The new single is called Break the Cycle. We just talk about you guys kind of collaborating to write stuff. So maybe you can just break this one down for me a little bit. But just talk to me about where the song idea came from, who was involved with it, and then maybe the process that it went through from idea to finished song. I'm really curious about the process and how this all worked.
Yeah, so Break the Cycle, I think it was probably the second or third thing I wrote for the new upcoming album. I like to challenge myself sometimes, because all I listen to, and this is why we were talking about outside perspectives is important, I really only listen to like ska punk and frat reggae, because I feel like as a writer, because I have such an encyclopedic knowledge of the genres and the history of them, I can pick up on some nuances and stuff that like a lot of bands won't do or don't do, and try to work that into Jokers to make it feel fresh while still also feeling familiar.
Mm-hmm.
But Break the Cycle, the challenge there was to write a song with the smallest amount of dirty guitar possible. And we tried this on the previous record with Gin and Tonic. That eventually, when we brought it to Roger, the immediate thing was, you need to put the choruses into punk rock for this to work.
Okay.
And that's cool. It worked out. I still think that's one of the better things I've ever written, but I really wanted to do something that was just ska. So I took influence from bands like the Toasters and Catbite.
Did you start with the bass line? Because I remember
I started with the riff, but I wrote it on guitar.
Okay, because I remember that was the first thing you showed me, like as we were just starting to build out the song, like was just that do 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 like that.
Yeah, I started with that because I had planned that to be a guitar riff, but we decided it worked better as a bass riff. Because that's another thing too with the writing process with Jokers. Everything has to work as a 3-piece. When you're in the studio, you can add extra layering guitars and like harmonies and stuff like that. That all makes sense on the record, but everything we do has to be able to be performed with no additional musicianship. So that does make its way into the recording process as well.
Yeah, it's very, very present.
So I started with those kind of like not old school like traditional ska vibes, but like trying my best not to use distorted guitars, because I really like what Catbite is doing right now with the kind of bluesier side of ska punk and the more like almost, I don't want to use the term rockabilly because it's not 100% accurate, but like
It's more traditional. It's like,
yeah,
it's like
it still has that energy.
Yeah, totally. But it's just not heavy.
Drawing influence from bands like Ballyhoo for the reggae drop. The idea to trade vocalists was also, I think, the first time Billy had written any lyrics for this band.
Yeah.
And eventually what came out was probably the catchiest song on the record. I would say it's probably one of the catchiest ones, but also the most danceable, the most fun. It's a song that doesn't take itself too seriously, even though the lyrics are about getting stuck in a rut.
Yeah. No, I listened to it a handful of times before you guys and I got together to talk about it, obviously. And I love it, man. It was like, it is that upbeat. You can't, like 3 seconds in, my head started bobbing. And I was like, okay, this is going to be good. And then you just kind of like get sucked into it a little bit. The chorus was written really well. It's catchy. It's like one of those crowd sing-along type of songs for sure. Totally. Austen gets to show off a little bit on this one, which is kind of cool, a little guitar solo. So, I mean, there's a lot of pieces to this that really do kind of like represent the band so much, and I think that's super cool. So there's more coming, right? October 10th is your release date for the full album.
October 10th, The Hand You've Been Dealt is coming out on Punkerton Records. It will be out digitally, CD, and vinyl.
Yeah, I believe pre-orders are up.
Pre-orders are live now, I believe. Yeah,
pre-orders are live. Yeah, I'm gonna actually put those pre-order links in our discussion or the bio of our discussion, so people can check that stuff out and go listen to it. Also, the music video is already out on YouTube. I'm not sure if it's gonna get kind of revamped, but the one that I saw was excellent. And then obviously you guys have all the social media stuff as well, like Joker's Republic on Instagram. People need to follow them a little bit, get involved, listen to the music because it's really good. What's happening? So right now you guys are on the road. Where are you headed? What's the next couple of shows for the next part of the year?
What's that? Next couple shows. Just talk about what we did and what's coming up next.
What did we did? Well, we're done with this tour. We played Pittsburgh, Chicago, Madison, Wisconsin, and we finished up at SPI Fest in Minneapolis 2 days ago and yesterday, and now we're beginning the trek all the way back east.
Okay, so back to New Jersey, but there's some shows coming up too. You guys have something at Starland Ballroom on September 14th, and then there's another one October 24th too, right?
Yes. So Starland Ballroom is, I believe, September 12th with Save Ferris, title holder, and Mess. And then we actually just announced yesterday we are playing Supernova International Ska Festival the 14th in Virginia.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep, and then after that, we're doing an awesome tour package with our friends at Power Up and Mega Infinity on the way down to Fest. First date for that is October 17th.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. So there's a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to make sure that people can see the website. JokersRepublic.com is the website, but the best way to get there is just go over to Instagram, hit them with the follow, tap the link.
Instagram is definitely best.
And then hit the official website, and you'll go right into the schedule, and everything is there. So, I mean, you guys are killing it for sure, you guys. I mean, I'm so glad that we had time to chat a little bit. Hopefully, the travels to the East Coast is safe. I'm looking forward to some of these shows. September 12th, I'm actually going to be in New York City. So I'm going to see if I can scoot down and check this thing out because you guys are legit. And I know Save Ferris as well. I think I've even interviewed them. So
I got to tell you, Starland Ballroom, if you've never seen Joker's Republic, that is the place to see us. It's our favorite place to play in New Jersey. It's Streetlight Manifesto's home base. So if you're at all familiar with ska punk, like you're aware of the legacy. And also on top of that particular show, we have tickets with no service fees that you can get directly through our merch site that supports us directly.
Oh, beautiful. Good for you guys. That's awesome. Yeah, very cool.
Thank you very much.
Well, I want to thank you guys for your time. I'm going to let you go. But again, awesome music, and I'll do what I can to get you guys pushed out as far as we can. But, drive safe. Keep doing what you're doing because it sounds great, and hopefully I'll see you on September 12th.
Absolutely. Thank you for doing this.
All right, no problem.
Thank you for listening to the show. Please take a minute to head over to www.savfair.com and subscribe to our publication.